The Galapagos Islands are a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the best places in the world to see wildlife. Located about 1,000 kilometers off continental Ecuador, they also take some time to get to. And there are also a few extra inspections you need to go through and fees you need to pay to get there. Here's our experience and the steps we followed to get to the Galapagos. To get to the Galapagos Islands, you first need to get to Ecuador. Specifically, you first need to get to Quito, Ecuador, or Guayaquil, Ecuador. We were flying in from Panama City, so we used Copa Airlines to fly us into Guayaquil. Once you get to Quito or Guayaquil, you can then fly to the Galapagos Islands. You have the option of flying into one of the two main airports on the Galapagos Islands. Seymour Airport if you want to go to Santa Cruz Island, or San Cristobal Airport if you want to go to San Cristobal Island. And you can use one of two airlines, LATAM Airlines or Avianca. For our route, we chose to fly from Guayaquil to Santa Cruz on LATAM Airlines. We just flew into Guayaquil, Ecuador from Panama, and we're spending the night here before our flight to the Galapagos tomorrow morning.
Good morning, everyone. Last night we flew into the Guayaquil airport and we spent the night at the Holiday Inn Airport Hotel.
We ordered some pizza to our room last night for dinner, and Chris is taking advantage of it again this morning.
Just having some leftover pizza for breakfast before we head to the airport.
Because we're flying to the Galapagos, the country of Ecuador has certain requirements that we need to meet to get on the flight. And so there are a few extra things that we need to do to be able to get there. The first step you need to do to get to the Galapagos is to fill out your TCT card. You can do it online or you can do it at the airport. We have a few hours before our flight, so I'm doing it online.
We're taking the free airport shuttle to the airport, and it's about 2.5 hours before our flight. The first thing we need to do in the departure terminal is head to the transit control booth to get our TCT cards based on the info that I already filled out online. The cards cost $20 per person and they only accept cash in US dollars. The next step is to put our check bags through an x-ray machine to make sure that we're not bringing in any of the prohibited items into the Galapagos. Now that the bag has been x-rayed, they put a zip tie on it so we can't open the bag and add stuff to it. We just got our TCT cards. We got our luggage put through the x-ray machine to make sure we're not bringing any fruits to the Galapagos. And now we're ready to follow standard airline procedures. This whole thing, there were no lineups, so it took us just a few minutes. It wasn't very long at all. With that done, we can check our bags through with the airline just like we normally would.
Well, that was all pretty easy. Everything's really close together. You check in over here at these kiosks and they give you your boarding pass and the baggage tag and all of that kind of stuff. And over just beside it is where you go in and you get your TCT card, and then right next to that is where you get your inspection by the x-ray, and then you go and check in on the next line right beside that, which is LATAM Airlines.
We're through security, and that took way less time than I thought it would. Now we have almost 2 hours to wait before our flight.
I'm gonna go get some Juan Valdez coffee. It's muy caliente. Me gusta. Juan Valdez.
All right, we've gotten on the plane, and the next step is getting to the Galapagos. The plane is getting sprayed with a non-toxic chemical approved by the World Health Organization to make sure we're not bringing in anything that could harm the Galapagos ecosystem. After 2 hours of flying, we're finally landing at the Seymour Airport on Baltra Island. We've gotten off the plane, and now we need to stand in line so we can pay our Galapagos entry fee. The fee is $100 per person, and they only accept cash. I'm told there's a single ATM somewhere here in the airport, and it doesn't always work, so make sure you have enough cash. After paying the fee, our carry-on bag needs to go through the x-ray machine, just like our check bag did back in Guayaquil. And it looks like our luggage is already waiting for us. Now it's time for buses, boats, and taxis. The airport is located on the tiny Baltra Island, and we need to get to Puerto Ayora, which is on Santa Cruz Island. So first, we board a bus for $5 per person. Again, cash only. After a 10-minute bus ride, we're now getting on a ferry. It's another $1 per person, and you've guessed it, cash only. 5 minutes later, and now we're on Santa Cruz Island. Now we need to traverse the length of the island to get to the town of Puerto Ayora. There seem to be plenty of taxis waiting to take us on this 45-minute drive. We're taking a Hilux, which is my favorite vehicle.
We've decided to take a taxi instead of a bus. The taxi takes us straight to our Airbnb and costs $25. If we had taken the bus, it would have been $5 each, and then we still would have had to get a taxi once we got to Puerto Ayora.
And we're finally here. We've arrived at our home for the next month. We can't wait to share our Galapagos Island adventure with you in the next video. And if you want more details on this trip, check the link in the description below.